So happy stimming. What is it? And why do thousands of people do this without even realizing it? Let's get into it. So guys, stimming is short for self-stimulatory behavior. Now this happens to people who are on the autism spectrum or neurodivergent, because this can happen to people who have ADHD and people who have autism, or somebody who has both, like myself. Howdy, how's it going? My name is Dan, I have autism and ADHD, and I make weekly videos like this. So if you're new around here and you want to learn more, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. So, happy stimming. Well, I want to be clear here, and I want to clarify. There's no definition between happy stimming and sad stimming. There's not like two genres of stimming, right? And stimming is short for self-stimulatory behavior, something that you do involuntarily because your body is trying to cope with an amount of energy built up from a certain situation. And we're going to go into all that right now. But if you have any questions or anything to ask me, pop in a comment down below right now, because I read and respond to every single comment. Happy stimming is where somebody is stimming and it's because they're getting joy or they're experiencing joy. And why is that apparent? Because stimming happens when an autistic individual is maybe chasing dopamine or excited about an event. So I've done a video talking about ADHD and autism and how they kind of like, you know, how stimming happens differently in each of those. But I'm going to just focus on stimming in general and why people will have happy stims in this video. So here's a story. When I about to go to a theme park, right, with my friends, we were going to go to a theme park and I'm really excited about it, right? And I have this kind of like, you know, feeling inside your body. You're like, well, I'm going to go to a theme park. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have loads of fun and eat loads of great food. And then you have this kind of like energy that you really need to get out, right? Because you're like, oh my goodness, you know, like I'm super excited about this thing. It's emotion, right? People on the autism spectrum have issues with emotional regulation. Or emotional deregulation is their kind of key here. Energy in motion, which is what emotion is building up. The energy inside you is the excitement, the feeling that you're having, right? The excitement or the wonder or the thing. And so I want to be able to kind of express this in the best way possible, but because autism is a communicational kind of deficiency, almost, the communication part of my brain that goes, hey, Dan, you're excited about something. Here's the best way to express it. Say, hey, I'm excited. Well, that doesn't work. I mean, with autism, if you know anybody on the autism spectrum, you'll know that this doesn't work. So what happens instead is I will get really anxiously kind of excited or elated, and I might start rocking backwards and forwards. Now, that's one cool happy stim, right? But there's another type of happy stim that people get so annoyed about, and I think it's probably one of the most difficult ones to deal with for other people who are not autistic, but also really need to understand this. Now, stimming can have many forms. It can be physical. It could be something that you kind of do, like, you know, it could be like scribbling on a piece of paper, or it could be a vocal stim. Now, a vocal stim is where you'll have a noise or a frequency or something that you may do over and over again, right? And this will happen involuntarily. Now, I outlined this quite in detail in another video, but I want to just outline there that stimming is involuntary. Nobody decides, hey, I'm going to stim right now. Like, it doesn't happen. Anybody who tells you otherwise is wrong or misunderstood in that respect. People say things like, hey, here, you know, come watch me stim dance. And that's not really true, because you can't really just say, I'm going to stim now, because stimming is happening because your body is wanting to get out this energy and wanting to do something with all this stuff. And the only way you can deal with it is to kind of put that energy into motion, and stimming happens, right? So vocal stims are a way that those can happen. So say you and your kids, right? You got an autistic kid or you're an autistic adult, right? And you're with your friends, and we're going to go to the seaside, we're going to the beach, we're going to grab an ice cream, we're going to go sit on the beach, it's going to be great. You know, we're all going to have a great time. And the closer you get to the beach, the more excited the autistic person gets. And then they're like, ah, and they'll sing kind of like really crazy, you know, tones or lyrics or something that is kind of repetitive to them, because they're getting out all this emotion. They're not voluntarily doing this. They're not going, oh, I'm going to just annoy everybody now by being this person who says all these things or sings this funny song. It's not that. It's that their body is trying to get this stuff out, and that's how it comes out. And that is kind of like a vocal stim. Now, for Joe Blogs or the average person who is not autistic, they're going to be like, dude, like, shut up. You know, you're really annoying everybody with this, like, weird noise that you're making. But they're not voluntarily doing it, right? And this is probably one of the most difficult parts of it. Now, even when they get that ice cream, they'll probably turn into iPad Kid, or maybe when you're at the beach and you're playing in the water, you'll turn to iPad Kid, because having such a good time and dopamine is flowing, they're like rocking their body, or their like legs going, or they have to jump up and down. I mean, you must have seen this with kids with ADHD and autism. They'll just jump up and down constantly because they have so much energy that they're trying to put into motion. I have a free Autism Life Hacks PDF book that you can download right now from autismtips.net. It's completely free. You can go there right now and download it. Trying to regulate the energy that their body is just pumping out. Hence why you'll see a lot of autistic people flap their hands when they're really excited, or if they're really stressed, they'll like rock backwards and forwards. And those times are involuntary stims. Now, in the happy times, you're going to have happy stims. Now, happy stims do two things. One, it gets that energy out. It gets that kind of emotional flow from emotional deregulation to emotional regulation through stimming, involuntarily, of course. But also, stimming then increases dopamine, which gives that person an elated feel. Now, what you don't want to do when somebody is happy stimming is that you don't want to shun them or shut them down from that stim. Because what happens, it's kind of like, imagine you're really thirsty and you need something to quench your thirst, right? And you get a bottle of water and you take a couple of sips and somebody knocks it out of your hand. How like uncomfortable and how much discomfort would happen in that moment in time for you? It's almost like it would drive you insane and also make you extremely angry and sad, right? So if a kid or an autistic person, and this is an adult, is stimming, vocal stimming or physical stims involuntarily because they're happy, you have to kind of go along with it and kind of like nurture that happy stim into like a nice well of acceptance and, validation. Because what's going to happen is they're going to have that feeling of dopamine like regression, like you're gonna smack the bottle away from their hands when they're trying to get as much water out of the bottle as possible, metaphorically, not actually physically. And this is why happy stimming is important. But the regular acceptance and the regular validation of happy stimming is going to last a lifetime, because what is going to happen is when you allow an autistic person to happy stim or to feel that stim, to have that energy and motion flow, and you're supportive of it and you validate it, they feel less alone in the bigger picture. They feel less like there is something wrong with them in the bigger picture. And in terms of their confidence and their mode of, hey, I'm in this world, I'm a bit different, how do I fit in? They now have acceptance for who they are. So happy stimming is something that we should definitely encourage. But how do we do that? How do we encourage happy stimming? And the way we do that is, if you notice somebody is happy stimming, the first thing you want to do is validate it. Wow, that looks super fun. Are you happy? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you excited? Is this fun for you? The more kind of like accommodations you can give that person, and they're going to say, yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm really excited. And then they're going to be like happy that you've recognized in them that they're happy, they're excited, they're doing something that's urging them towards happiness. And that's what everyone's striving for, right? A happy existence and a happy childhood, or a happy, husband, or a happy partner, or a happy brother or sister, who's on the autism spectrum. Then the next thing, you want to validate it. Like if they may fall over or they'll hit their hand on something, if they're flapping their hands and they hit the hand on a wall, you're like, oh, that must really hurt, but it's okay. We understand how that must hurt. Or if somebody is stimming and they're like, I can't stop, I need to just jump up and down. You go, okay, that's absolutely fine. We all want to jump up and down every now and then. When you validate it, when you allow them to feel the way they feel, and it's okay because we're humans, right? You then allow them to feel more accepted. They feel understood. And the other thing you can do in terms of making sure that the happy stim is continued and that they are feeling accepted, they're feeling warm, they're feeling welcome, is to just encourage it. When, it's not okay, calm down, sit down right now, stop making that noise, put your hands away, people are going to look. No, this is life. People need to kind of realize that people exist outside of the norms or what's expected in society. And by you being the person who's cool as a cucumber, who's just like, I tell you what, this person's stimming, people are going to look, I don't care, because I am their protector, I'm their provider, I'm their wife, I'm their husband, I'm their partner, I'm their brother, I'm their sister, I'm the person who's there to make sure they feel accepted in the world. Because who is to say what's right and wrong? When you advocate for them, when you accept, when you advocate for them, when you validate, when you encourage, and when you just literally let them be, something magical will happen in that person, and that will last a lifetime. Because what will happen is stims will vary, right? As a person gets older, stims will change. They will kind of mutate into different things. They'll be maybe more discrete, or they'll maybe more tick-based or tick-related, where they'll have more involuntary kind of like short spurts of stimming. And that's okay, because as long as they're still happy stimming, then they're going to feel that they have regulated their energy in motion or their emotional deregulation. They've managed to regulate it. Because autistic people having a deregulation of emotion or emotional deregulation, it's so hard to feel accepted. Kind of like, remember when you were learning to spell, and if you spell something wrong or you put like a letter the wrong way around, you felt quite embarrassed because you feel like you were inadequate, even though you know what you wanted to do and you could definitely understand the mechanics of it. You just hadn't had that acceptance yet to say, oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah, we're all learning. It's kind of like that. When you are allowed to stim, when you understand stimming, when you're validated, your happy stimming is something that is just going to be second nature to you, that will just happen, and that's okay, and you're okay with it. So I do encourage everybody to make sure that you do advocate, and you do kind of like validate the autistic individual's experience, because that is going to last them a lifetime. Any questions, pop it in the comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace. If you're interested in supporting me and what I do, you can access online courses and programs on my patreon.com/the Aspie World, and you can subscribe for different levels. I also have second secret vlogs videos on there that only go on to my Patreon and subscriber-based models. And also I have business advice videos, so if you're wanting to learn how to start a business as a disabled autistic person, then you could go on there and follow along with my videos. And I also do music on there, so if you're interested in listening to me sing and play music, I share my music on there too. All the links for Patreon are down below, or you can go to patreon.com/the Aspie World, or you can even go to theaspieworld.com/Patreon.